The NBA season is back in action, and after 4 nights of games, many teams have had a chance to play 2 games so far, and it's the perfect time for ridiculously small sample size overreactions. I've got 7 of them for you. Like, subscribe, and let's get into them. Jayson Tatum is the MVP frontrunner. In 2 games, Tatum has only had to play 29 minutes a game to amass 31 points, 7.5 rebounds, and 8 assists per. He's shooting 60% from the field and 50% on 11 3-point attempts per game. The stat that I'm watching closest is the assist number. I thought when the Celtics were playing in the finals that I noticed something in Tatum. His shot wasn't falling, but he was still the focal point of what they were doing. He absorbed the attention of the defense and opened things up for everyone else, and he was more of a distributor than I've ever seen him be. I said then that if he adds being a real playmaker for others to his game, he'd catapult into legit MVP discussions. And not 3rd to 5th place votes, I'm talking he could actually win it. And he has 16 assists so far in 2 games that he's not even been needed in the 4th quarters for. And he only has 2 total turnovers. His jumper looks smooth, he's still scoring, and the team has come away with 2 blowout 20-point victories. This is what an MVP looks like. And while he should be the favorite after 2 games, Anthony Davis is the real MVP. AD has been dominating for the Lakers, who are off to a 2-0 start with a second night of a back-to-back tonight. He's been a beast on both ends of the court. 35.5 points a game, 12 rebounds, and he's taking 16 free throws per game, which basically means the defense is just helpless. He's converting when he gets to the line at 81%. He's shooting 54% from the field. His usage is over 32%, which is in Trae Young and Jalen Brunson territory for context. He's scored 30% of the Lakers' points on his own, and he's also dropped 4 assists per game, so he's contributing to far more than that. We've been hearing for years that he's taking the reins of the Lakers. LeBron is passing him the torch, and JJ has him actually doing that. On defense, he's still been impressive, blocking 2.5 shots a game. Their defensive rating at 111 is top 12 in the league, and it's even better at 109 when he's on the court. In this comically small sample size, AD is playing at the potential we've always dreamed he would, which is truly MVP level. And if it's a 2-person race for MVP, Evan Mobley is winning everything else. Most improved player, defensive player of the year, all-star, first-team All-NBA, everything. Evan Mobley is finally making that leap that Cavs fans have been dreaming about since draft night of 2021. For the defensive player of the year argument, he's averaging 3 steals and 2.5 blocks in the first 2 games. That's in the top handful of guys in both categories, and it doesn't even take into account the sheer presence he's been on that end of the floor. He's been stifling. I'm pretty sure that Scotty Barnes was just ready to quit basketball on opening night. Mobley had him so miserable. His defensive rating is under 92, and he's just a menace. And in terms of that leap, he scored 25 points in the first game. He's 3 for 5 from 3, and he's taken multiple threes in each game so far. And the Cavs are running a lot of what they do through Mobley. He's grabbing and going all game long, pushing it in transition. He's creating for others with 3 assists in each of these first 2 games. His jumper looks smooth, and he's mostly not hesitating. With the exception of a couple of times he could have ripped a 3, he tried to pump and drive instead, but the vast majority of the time he's been aggressive. He's going to the rim where he's either finished or dumped it off to a cutter. And also, did I mention that his offensive rating is over 124? That makes his net rating plus 32.5. He's been the best player on the Cavs through 2 games, and if that continues, the ceiling for this group changes in a very, very meaningful way. And with both the Lakers and the Cavs represented on this list so far, it's only fitting to also bring up LeBron is finally washed. Just kidding. LeBron's birthday is December 30th, and he'll be turning 40. This is year 22 in the league, And while I definitely don't believe he's actually washed, you can check the receipts on the channel, you're not going to find a more pro-LeBron person than this guy. But he has gotten off to a slow start in the first couple of games, which is probably courtesy of Father Time. On opening night, he had the really awesome moment getting to play with Bronny, and that was emotional for sure. He flashed some explosion in that game, but overall, he didn't play that great. Just 16 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists, with a couple of turnovers and a -6 in his 34 minutes. Juxtapose that to a guy like Rui Hachimura in the same game, scoring 18 in his 35 minutes, where he was a +19. In Game 2 against the Suns, he didn't have his first bucket until about 30 seconds left in the first quarter, and only had 4 points in the first half. He ended up with 21 and 8 assists for a +14 on the night, so he definitely got it going in the second half in a big way. But there have been some just missed layups, some uncharacteristic plays at the rim, that to my eye test, I feel like the contact might be impacting him more than it has in the past. We're used to seeing guys hanging all over him, and he's strong enough to just finish anyways. And not that he hasn't still finished through contact too, just maybe not in the most dominant LeBron James fashion as we've been accustomed to seeing for 2 decades now. So far, at least. And it's certainly not like he's even remotely out of shape or anything like that, like some other guys coming into the season, but it makes sense that it might take some more time than usual for him to get his legs under him and to get a rhythm. In professional basketball years, he's ancient. But that's not going to stop me from enjoying watching him play as much as I can while we're still able to witness it, because eventually this dude is going to hang it up, and that's going to suck. But I truly don't believe that we're done seeing him play at an elite level. It just might take a minute to get there this year. And speaking of needing ramp-up time, the Sixers, at this rate, aren't even going to make the playoffs. After winning the offseason by signing Paul George, he's already been sidelined with his first injury of the season. Joel Embiid hasn't suited up yet either, without an injury. The NBA is investigating that. And hopefully they come up with something, because right now the best explanation we have is they're focusing on having him healthy in the playoffs. And he's, as Brian Windhorst put it on the Hoop Collective, not ready to go. He apparently needs to manage his minutes from his hard work in the off season, which wouldn't this be the time that he'd be most ready to go? After not having played in any games since the Olympics, which he did play in, and now isn't playing? Did Paul George bring something contagious from playing with Kawhi Leonard these past several years? What is happening? If this is how the season's gonna go with their 2 biggest stars, it's gonna be on Tyrese Maxey to carry them to the playoffs. And while he's a really nice young player, nobody is shocked that they're 0-2 out of the gate with a bottom 5 point differential, while he's second in the league in shots per game and top 5 in minutes. They could very realistically find themselves in the play-in when this is all said and done, where they could easily get bounced before ever having a chance to make the playoff run that they're trying to keep Embiid healthy for. Or they could look to bolster their lineup by reuniting with a familiar face perhaps when Jimmy Butler demands a trade from the Heat. Jimmy Butler didn't get a contract done this summer. Pat Riley has said that his guys need to be more available, which is code for, well, not really even coded, you're not getting paid if you're not playing games. And Jimmy responded in the first game with 3 points on 1 of 8 shooting and a whopping -30 in just 25 minutes of game time. And what jumps off the screen even more than that is that he only took 2 free throws. Jimmy Butler can be a streaky shooter, but something you can always count on him for is effort, and he's going to force the issue and get to the line. If he's not doing that, is the effort really there? And if there's an effort issue, why? Has Heat culture worn off? Is he unhappy with his contract situation? Are we headed for a Minnesota-esque, Philadelphia-esque parting of the ways between Butler and the Heat? And if so, how does it come to pass? Did the Heat start shopping him around the league? Or does Jimmy make the first move? And what could that move look like? Hey, maybe the Clippers could cobble together some spare parts and toilet paper to bring him into the toilet bowl so that they can avoid James Harden leading the league in shot attempts. It's only been one game, but Houston Harden is in full effect, but like older, much older. In the first game of the year, Harden scored 29 points, which sounds like he did his job, right? Except it took him 28 shots to get there. His usage was 39.4, which is crazy, and up there in the range where it was in his Houston heyday. And that could easily continue. Who knows when Kawhi Leonard is going to suit up, or how much he'll play at all this year? We literally never know with Kawhi. And right now, there's no timetable. We're all just on Kawhi time. Combine that with Harden's comments coming into the season that Luka got to the finals, proving that you can win playing his style of basketball. This could be the year we see the most shot attempts by a player 35 or older in NBA history, which is a stat that I think should probably be tracked down, if for nothing else but the sheer comedy of it. What's your biggest overreaction from the first few nights of NBA basketball? Comment below and watch this next.